Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we're looking at something quite old and something unusual compared to what we normally view and review. We are looking at today the 1990 release by Silver First from their Doctor Who related interviews. And Silver First was a company that was owned by David Banks, who actually played one of the Cybermen, or the Cyber leader, in a lot of the Doctor Who episodes throughout the 1980s onwards. I think there was some in the 70s as well, so 70s and 80s. Okay, and this particular audio cassette is entitled Who's the Real McCoy? And it is all based on, or it's all about Sylvester McCoy, who portrayed the 7th Doctor in the television series. And this was made during the 25th anniversary story, The Silver Nemesis. Okay, so this is the cassette in front of us, and this is the case it comes in. And it says, Doctor Who, Who's the Real McCoy? And Sylvester McCoy talks with David Banks. And you've got the silver screen logo at the bottom there. Let's just turn it over to the back. And on the back it says, Production Silver Fist, Who Dares, Sleeve Design Jenny Liddell, Recording Technician Paul Delaney, Cover Artwork 1990 Andrew Skilleter, and Guest Appearance Carolyn McKee. Okay, so that is the front of the case. And on the side of it just says there, Who's the Real McCoy? Sylvester McCoy talks with David Banks. And it's got the Silver Fist and the logo on the right-hand side there. Okay, let's open it up. And inside we've got this single audio cassette. And obviously it's got Who's the Real McCoy? Sylvester McCoy talks to David Banks. See in late card for details. And you got all the rights reversed, copyright information and so on. Silver Fist logo at the top there. And we got side 1 and side 2. Okay, let's just put that down and let's take out the card and see what it says on the card. So first of all it says, Who's the Real McCoy? Sylvester McCoy talks with David Banks. Their 50-minute mission to boldly go where no fan has gone before. Okay, yeah, that's a pun at Star Trek. Sylvester McCoy and David Banks first met in 1988 during the making of the 25th Doctor Who anniversary story Silver Nemesis. 18 months later, they worked together again in the pantomime Aladdin. Sylvester playing the slave of the lamp and David the Chinese Emperor. The ideal opportunity for David to discover more about the man behind the 7th Doctor. Who's the Real McCoy? Recorded on Tuesday, the 2nd of January 1990 at the Palace Theatre, Manchester. Charts for the first time in fascinating detail and in Sylvester's own inimitable words. The early years in Scotland, the training as a priest, the work as a city accountant, the long apprenticeship in theatre and TV, and the portrayal of the Doctor. All the elements, in fact, that constitute the real McCoy. And it says, okay, Sylvester McCoy did not become an actor until he was 27. Born and educated in Duncan, Scotland, he came to London at the age of 18 and worked in the city. When the company eventually went bust, he found a job in the Roundhouse box office as a hippie who could count. Okay. Out of the blue, Ken Campbell asked him to join a new kind of anorak street theatre. The now legend Ken Campbell Roadshow, Joan Littlewood used them in her Stratford East Company. Then Richard Eyre incorporated them into his production of Bartholomew Fair at Nottingham Playhouse. Sylvester stayed on to become part of the company. Since then, he's popped up all over the place in an impressive variety of roles and media. He's sung in Britain's opera, A Midsummer Night's Dream for WNO, and Gilbert and O'Sullivan, the Pirates of Penzance. He's acted in Breckshaw and Shakespeare. He's portrayed Stan Laurel, Buster Keaton, and Eric Satie. His film roles include Dracula and 3 Kinds of Heat. Plays have been written for him: Adrian Mitchell's The Pied Piper at the National Theatre, and more recently, I Miss My War by Irani poet Iraj Janet Ati. and for many years he's been seen regularly on television. Tis was Vision on, Eureka, The Last Place on Earth, What's Your Story, to name but a few. Not forgetting, of course, 3 seasons of Doctor Who. David Banks is an actor whose work encompasses leading classical and fantasy roles as diverse as Acucheek and Falstaff, Mowgli and Sherlock Holmes. In Doctor Who, he has portrayed the cyber leader throughout the 80s and is author of Cyberman, a definitive book on the subject. This is his second recording conversation with a doctor. In the ultimate interview, he and Colin Baker interviewed each other. Because this conversation was recorded live in the dressing room of a working theatre, certain intrusive ambient effects have been unavoidably. Where possible, these have been edited out, but in order to preserve the flow and integrity of the conversation, this was not always possible. There we are. And then it's gone on there. Silver Fist Collection, the book Doctor Who, Cyberman, $14.95. The archive tapes, $5.95. Origins of the Cyberman, the Cyber Nomads, the early Cyberman, the Ultimate Cyberman. The interview tapes, $5.99. The Ultimate Interview, Who's the Real McCoy. The VHS video Talking to John, $10.99, with Stephanie Colburn and Troy Webb. Warning, explicit language. All items prices include P&P, UK only. Available from Who Dares Publishing, PO Box 745, Bournemouth, B863YG. There we are. So this was only available through mail order, by the sounds of things. But obviously it is quite an in-depth interview with Sylvester McCoy. And it's all about his life right up to 1990, which was really just after the show had been cancelled, a year or so after the show had been axed, after Doctor Who had been axed. I'm talking about the original run of Doctor Who I'm talking about. So yeah, it was at that point, I think a lot of the fans were absolutely gutted that Doctor Who had finished. So there was a lot of spin-off merchandise, videos that were produced by BBV, and there was lots of audio cassettes that were released. Most of them were only available through mail order. You could, if you got the Doctor Who magazine, most of them were advertised in there, and you could order through the magazine. As the internet became more readily available in the early 90s, it also became more easier to order the items online or pick them up from places like, well, the platforms. But generally, I don't know how many of these were produced, as I say, because they're fan-based material produced and sold. And I don't know how well they've done. There's no way I really finding that information out without contacting Silver Fist themselves. So, these particular items don't come up very often. You look at the platforms these days and you hardly ever see these items come up. So perhaps that's because everything's streamed these days. I don't know. But I'm sure everybody still possesses a tape player or a DVD player or or an audio player of some kind that they would still happily play their cassettes on. I'm sure people still have them. We still certainly got a few. But anyway, so the actual point being, I don't know how many of these were produced. I don't know how many were sold. I don't know how well they've done. But I can tell you they don't come up for sale very often. But as usual, we at Midas Touch have managed to find a few. And they're currently available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to quite simply by clicking the link below. It'll take you straight to the website, and you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Doctor Who items and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I'm absolutely positive that you're not going to want to miss this, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed this very short video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.